I just hear the Lord say, Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that's who you are. Sometimes we get all caught up in our stuff and we don't realize that He's still that waymaker. We don't realize that He's still that promise keeper, that He's that miracle worker. And then we forget that's who He really is. You know, there's times when you're in the middle of the worst situations and you don't remember those things. You don't remember those things. But if we really knew God, that is what would be coming out of our heart. And I hope that since we've been here this weekend, that that's going to be, you know, the Word says to write God's Word on the tables of your heart. In other words, put it in there and make it stone. Make it engraved in your heart that you never forget it. And I pray that that's going to be in our heart, and it's going to be like stone in our heart, and we're going to never forget that. And that when we begin to be in the middle of that situation, that's going to come up. That's going to come up. That word from the Lord is going to come up to us. And the Holy Ghost is going to say, Waymaker, He's your waymaker. When there was no way, He made a way. That He's your miracle worker. How many times have we been there when we said, God, I need a miracle? And He said, I'm your miracle worker.
Hallelujah.
If I created the heavens and the stars, can I not create what you need? Can I not fix a situation that you have? Promise keeper. He said, I hold my word above my name. He says, I'm the same yesterday, today, and forever. I'm not a man that would lie. My arm is not too short. That is always reaching out to us. It's always reaching out to you. When you're going, God, where are you? And He's saying, I'm right here. Where are you? Are you running into me? Are you running away from me? Are you just not running at all? I don't know about you, but I came to this place this weekend and I thought, God, I don't know where you are, but I know I want to be right where you are.
Amen.
More than ever in my life, I want to be right where you are. And I want to be in that place where they celebrate the gifts of God on the inside of me. It's time to celebrate you, Jesus. It's not time to sit on the back side of the mountain any longer, girls. I don't know where you've got to go and what you've got to do to let God out of you and let Him be big in you like He is. But I'm pleading and begging with you, please, please run after Him and go wherever you have to go to get it.
Amen.
Our time is so short, and God has created you to be so unique. He's put so many giftings and callings on the inside of you. And people and churches and religion and traditions have tried to squash them and change you and mold you and make you into what they want you to be. But God is saying, fight, run, stand up, get your backbone back, stand up and be the woman of God that I've called you to be. Stand up and be the woman of God that I've created you to be. Be brave enough to stand up and change and say, God, I've never done this before, but I know that you're calling me to do this. But you're going to have to walk me through And God brought us here to get undone. He brought us here to get in touch with ourselves and with Him. He brought us here to get a grip on who we really are.
Amen. Hallelujah.
He brought us here to let us see that God's got way more for us than we ever imagined. And there's dreams, and there's unctions, and there's things on the inside of us that we have thought we wanted to do, and that we have prayed and talked to Him about, even from a small child. And we have been so afraid to do it, and said, God, I don't know how to do it. Well, that's okay, because did you think I knew how to do this? I still don't know how to do this. But every time I get up here, He shows me how. Just like every time you walk through a door and you meet a new person, and He goes, go pray for her. She's suffering with this. Go ask her if you can pray for her for healing. She has cancer. Go ask for her. Her husband's left her. Go ask for her if you can pray for her here. And all of a sudden she breaks down, or maybe a devil manifests. And you go, whoa, God, what in the world? And He's saying to you, you have a full-grown Jesus on the inside of you. You have resurrection power. You have the power that raised Christ from the dead, dwells on the inside of you. You have the power that created the universe, that lives on the inside of you, that He created the universe through His words. What kind of universe are you creating for yourself? What kind of life are you creating for yourself in what you're saying every day? God's saying, say what I say. Right. Agree with me. Yes. The word came today about agreement. If we'll begin to agree with God, if we'll begin to agree with His word, if we'll begin to put fear out of the way and surrender and agree with the Holy Ghost, we will see miracles. We will see the way maker come in our life and be normal in our life. It won't be just something that just happens every once in a while. All of a sudden, it will be a normal part of our life.
Hallelujah.
If we'll take God's word and His promises for face value, people say, oh, well, that was good. No, that is good. Because guess what? It is for today. Yes. Don't take the lie of the enemy any longer. Don't think that if you have cancer, He won't heal you.
That's right.
Look at that right there. She's a prime example. And you know why? Because she agreed with the Lord.
Amen.
She could have said, oh my God, I better be making this arrangement and that arrangement. But she said, I will live and not die and declare the glory of God. Everything I put my hand to will prosper, and everything I put my feet to possesses. And until we get to the point that we make God's word as concrete, until we literally get to the point that we begin to write His word on the tables of our heart, we're not going to be able to stand. God can give us angels to watch over us. He can give us angels to go and minister with us. He can give us supernatural favor, but until we begin to believe we have it, it's not going to work that well. It might work here and there, but God's saying, I want you to walk in that every minute of the day. Amen. I want you to breathe it. I want you to sleep it. I want you to eat it. I want you to let it become a part of you. Because that's the kind of overcoming women He's called us to be. Are you hearing me?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, everything that they have, the praise and worship has sang over us these last 2 days. The words of the Lord. I didn't even know if I was going to be able to get up here to even be able to speak. As broken as I was back there. And I was just like, God, I'm going to have to leave here, and I'm still going to have to seek you and find out where I'm supposed to be. Because I know the church that I'm in right now, it is not where I'm supposed to be anymore. And I don't know about you, but I've come to a point, God has stirred me up to a point, and I know there's more ladies in here besides me that He's doing this to you. He's stirring you up and telling you right now that there's something bigger that you are, and He needs you to be a part of it. There is something bigger than you are, and He needs you to be a part of it. And that is what He's been putting in my spirit. I said, God, I don't know what it is, but I know I've got to be a part of it. It's something bigger than myself. God is a God of vision. God is a God of dreams. Look at Lori. This started 20 years ago with her, or longer, 25 years ago, about ministering to women. But God had to take Lori, and He had to bring her along the way, and she had to surrender. And then all of a sudden, that dream, it started in a dream or an idea, and then a dream. All of a sudden, that dream had to get down on the inside of her. And then all of a sudden, she had to start seeing herself being able to do it. Well, maybe I could do that, Lord. Maybe that could happen, God. And then all of a sudden, God gave her vision for it. It's line upon line, precept upon precept. Here a little, there a little. And then Lori got the vision, and Lori got bold enough to start sharing the vision. And the Word talks about write it down, make it plain, so those that see it can come and run with it with you. And so when she began to release the vision, then God began to put feet to it. Because the vision, once you release it, it has feet, it has faith. And it's active. It begins to move out and begins to take substance to it. And so this one began to hook up with her. And that one began to hook up with her. And that one began to hook up with her. And Lori didn't know where this was going to come from, and that was coming from, and who was coming here and who was coming there. But you see where we are 5 years later. And I'm telling you, this is only the beginning. You will see this ministry go around the world.
Yes.
It's going around the world. God told me 3 years ago that there was 2 18-wheelers, and it had blessed among women on the sign with a chandelier. It's going. And since then, someone else has told her that they saw an 18-wheeler. I'm telling you, it's going to be like Women of Faith. How do you know what that Women of Faith ministry is like? Yours will be better, but I'm just saying it's going to be like that, you know. But that's what I'm saying. And each one of you have a dream, have an idea that God has put on the inside of you. Because He does it to every one of us. If He didn't, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here. Because you wouldn't be pursuing Him about anything. You'd just be going through the motions. You know, a lot of people, they're just good at going through the motions. It's Sunday, it's Wednesday night, Sunday night. Yes, at 5 o'clock, at 10:30, and at 6:30, it's time to go to church. But what are they getting out of it? Are they going and doing their duty? Or are they going because they really have an intimate relationship and they're pursuing God? Honestly, I'm going to tell you something. And this is me, okay? I got to the point, I didn't care if I went to church again or not. Because guess what? I was sick of going through the motions. Amen. I don't know, I'm sure there's some more in here. But when you get to the point that you're stalemated at church, guess what? You need to start pursuing. You need to start seeking. You need to start knocking, and you'll find. It might take you a bit, but you'll find it. Because God never wants us to be stale. He never wants us to be backslid. He's always taking us a step forward, like Lori said. You don't go a step forward and 2 steps back, and go a step forward and 2 steps back. It's not that kind of dance. It's going on, and you're waltzing all around the room with the Father. You know? I'm telling you. I don't know what you guys think about these mannequins over here, but the Lord kind of talked to me about these mannequins. I think these mannequins are beautiful. And these mannequins started out, and they were probably beige. You know, they were beige, boring beige, you know. And so sometimes that's kind of the way we are. We're kind of boring beige, you know, because we don't let our personality come out. We don't wear the colors that we really love because somebody else might think we're too bright, you know. Or we don't wear the funky earrings that rest on our shoulders, or the holes in our breeches, or the 3 color painted toes, or whatever. You know what I'm saying to you? And so these mannequins started out boring beige, but yeah, that lady right there, she had a dream for these mannequins. Lori, my brain just whoosh. She had a dream for these mannequins. And then she got a vision for them. And so she began to paint those mannequins. And those mannequins didn't have any choice but to surrender. You know? And so Lori took her Holy Ghost creative self and she planted it on those mannequins. And so she began to paint them, and that's the way God starts with us. He begins to take his paintbrush and he begins to paint us. And then we have scars and hurts and wounds. And the Lord was showing me that those screens were kind of like those scars and hurts and wounds. And we had kind of put a little barrier between us and him and other people. Well, then, I just think these things are beautiful. And if you turn your back too much, I didn't bring part of this to you. But he started telling me that all these medallions and all this funky stuff on here were like badges of honor. And you know, as women, we have hurts, things that happen to us that maybe our choices, maybe not our choices. But when we let God come in, he begins to decorate us. And he begins to put those badges of honor on us. And you know, those badges don't look like anything else you've ever seen, do they? And that's the way God does us. He begins to paint us. He begins to heal that hurt that we had 20 years ago from a teacher in the 3rd grade. Yeah. He begins to heal that wound from that first love of a boyfriend. You know, just on and on, maybe a marriage, whatever. And then when we get him up, he puts this beautiful badge of honor on us. He puts that beautiful thing that, through that beauty for ashes, that the oil of joy for mourning came. Amen. The garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. Amen. That we would be like trees of righteousness planted by the rivers of water. And then when people look at us, they go, man, you are really cool. Yeah, I've never seen anybody like you. Well, that's good. That's good. Because guess what? He made one mold and he made you, and then he threw the mold away. And so we end up looking like these beautiful mannequins over here. And you know what these mannequins also say to me? That they're mannequins of war. And each one of these ladies in here, there's been a war that you fought. Maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 10. But in those, people are going to begin to see that you're a woman of war, that you've gone through many things, but the gifts of the Spirit have come through and badged you. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? that God's glory is on you. In those hurts, in those wounds, in all that stuff, that when we surrendered those things, God came in and He healed those, and He put His badge on that, and that has shown and is showing up right now, and it looks gorgeous. It's unique. Doesn't look like anybody else's. But you're beautiful. You're unique. You're gorgeous. And it's because God has made you that way. You know, the Lord brought to me the story about David and Goliath. And in the story, David came to the camp, and they were going, man, Goliath's out there, and he's really big, and we don't know who's going to fight him, and all that stuff. And David said, hey, I'll take on that uncircumcised Philistine. I'll take him down. He's probably 5'5", 5'7", and that Goliath's 9 feet tall, you know. He said, bring him on, I'll take him on. And Saul's going, okay, well, here's the armor. Here, let's put on this helmet. Let's put on this 100-pound piece of metal. You know, here's your shield that's as big as you are. Can't even see your head because the shield's so big. Here's the sword. And so they put the armor on piece by piece, and he goes, man, this stuff is heavy. I can't even tiptoe and see out the visor of this thing, you know, because it doesn't fit me, you know. And the Lord began to talk to me and say this. He said, the traditions of men, or the traditional armor of the army, He put onto him to take him and put him into battle. But it didn't fit. He knew that when he went out into battle, if he wore that armor, he would be defeated. And so what did he do? He took and he shook that armor off. He said, take this stuff off of me. I can't do this and that. He says, I have my armor. I have my armor. I have a sling and a stone. And I'll go out and I'll take him down. You know, tradition and things that we've been taught, traditions of the church, the Word of God says traditions of men make God's Word of none effect. When we let those things come on us and it's not freedom, don't take it. Because God's Word is truth and freedom. And so when we begin to go and take those traditions that would put us in bondage, that would bind us down, that would stop us from being and doing the way that God has trained us, then we're not successful. And so David shook that armor off and he said, I'll take him on. He said, I've got my sling and I've got my stones. I'll take him on. So David went out of the tent, and it said that he went down and picked up 5 stones, I think, out of the brook, maybe.
Yes.
Got it right?
Yes.
And there was Goliath, and he was running his big mouth. Isn't that the way the devil is? Isn't that the way the giants are in our life? They come to us and they say, I'm fixing to eat your lunch. Who do you think you are? You're going under. You know, it's just not going to work. You're going to get a divorce, or your business is going to fail, or your kids are going to stay on drugs and they're never coming off, or whatever that giant is. And David looked that giant right in the face and he said, because I come in the name of the Lord, and I have my weapons. God's given you weapons, and they're your weapons. Your weapons are not my weapons. And God has trained you how to use those weapons. And when you go to war, when you go to face the giant, when you go to do those things, just like Linda said, when they took on that school, and they went, whoa, you know, they didn't listen to them. But Linda said, oh yeah, you'll be listening sooner or later. And they finally listened, didn't they? And they got what they went after. She cut that giant's head off. And God is saying, you take the weapons that I have trained you in, You take the weapons that I have given you. You take the gifts and the callings that I put on the inside of you, and you be that mighty woman of God that I've created you to be. And you walk boldly, and you walk straight and strong, and you walk confidently into that place of opposition. And you stand because you know all of heaven and earth is standing right beside you. Just like that big old angel that they saw behind her when she was preaching. You go and stand confidently and know that I come in the name of the Lord. I come in the name of the Lord, and I will not be defeated, because I hear the voice of my shepherd, and a stranger I'll not follow. And God has sent me. I have not come here in my own flesh. I've not come in here to make myself look big. I come because God has sent me, and I will be victorious. Amen. And that's where we have to get. Is we have to know that He is our way maker. That He is our favor-giving God that gives us favor with God and man. That He is that promise keeper. That if He said it, He'll do it. You know? If He said it, He'll do it. He's not a man that would lie. He doesn't change. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. And He's going to be the same way tomorrow. He's going to be the same way 2 hours from now. He's going to be the same way. You can count on Him. You can go to the bank on it.
Amen.
You know, you can go to the bank on it. Because He's never going to leave you, and He's never going to forsake you. You are His daughter. Amen. And He knows you by name. Yes. He knows you by name. And matter of fact, we were talking about new names. Guess what? I got a new name the other night. I've been wanting a new name for a while. And the Lord gave me a new name. I never heard it before. It was Arabelle, right? Arabelle. I mean, that's pretty cool, God. I never heard of that name before. That's unique, just like me. You know? Yeah, and you know what? There's going to be a time I'm going to tell somebody that besides y'all, but I mean, I'm going to be bold enough to say that. And expect God to say that to me. You know? He doesn't give us a new name and not call us by it. You know? And somebody told me it meant beautiful sacrifice. Is that what it was, Christy? And so He's given us all a new name. I just found out what mine was, but I'm glad for it. And the Word talks about Him giving us new names, you know. And so when I was back there worshiping, I've always been one that I look at Father God as Daddy God. But when I was beginning to worship, back there I was just broken. And this is what came into me. Papa. I don't know how many of y'all had a papa. Because I call him Daddy. But I felt like the Lord said there's women in here that I'm going to be their papa. Was there anybody in here that used to call their daddy Papa? You're going to know Him as Papa. He wants you to know Him as Papa. And that's really, really personal. Really personal. He's calling us to seek Him like never before. He's calling us to be brave like never before. He's calling us to put those familiar things. If you've been going to a church for 20 years, God's saying, I may be calling you to put it behind and go forward with me. And if He does, you think, oh, well, my whole family's here. Well, maybe your whole family needs to leave, and you're the one that's going to have to leave for your family to leave, if that's what He wants. But you can't follow your family. Yes, they're precious to you. Yes, you love them. Yes, you love to worship with them. You got to follow Papa. You got to follow Daddy. You got to follow your Father God. Because He's got great things for you down the road. You know, they may be satisfied where they are, but these women in here are not satisfied where you are. You're women that are going forward after the Lord. And that's why you're here, because you're pursuing Him. And the great thing is He was pursuing you before you ever got here. And guess what? He's going to continue to pursue you. And I'm here to tell you, you're going to be miserable when you leave this place until you get into that spot. Because once you have been here, and this is the sad thing, I was here 20 years ago. And I was here for a long time. But when I moved, guess what? This wasn't there any longer. And so I've been in a lot of dry places. And you go into a church that doesn't have this type of praise and worship, that worship leader doesn't know how to touch the heart of God, and it's 3 verses and a chorus. You ever been there? 3 verses and a chorus? And that's good, and let's go, because lunch is calling, you know. Then you go, God, where are you? You know, and yes, if you are fortunate enough to get in this type of thing when you're in your quiet time, your prayer time with the Lord, that's good, because that will sustain you. But I'm saying, I know I'm talking about myself. When I leave here, it ain't going to be the same. I'm going to be more miserable than I was, because it's true, because I've been deeper with the Lord. And once you're deeper, you're never satisfied.
Amen.
You're never satisfied. It's like what she said, deep's crying unto deep. You know, and when you go deep, you want to go deeper, because you know, like when you go deep into the ocean, it gets darker. And that's the way it is in the spirit. When you go deeper in God, the things of the enemy get darker because they're stronger and they come after you. But in that darkness, there's greatness, because the power of God is even stronger. And the revelation of the Lord is even stronger. And your relationship with God is even stronger, because you have to go deeper into Him to be able to sustain that. So, I'm saying this is the beginning of seeking. This is the beginning of pursuing. This is the beginning of running after God. And you're going to get to the point that you're going to go, God, where are you? Where are you like you were in that room? Where are you, God? I want you in that way. And you're going to continue to seek after Him, continue to run after Him, and continue to talk to Him. And He's going to reveal Himself to you. And He will satisfy your soul. It won't be a church. It won't be a Bible study. Yes, all those help. I'm not saying they're not good. But it's that intimate, deep relationship with Jesus.
Amen.
That is only going to satisfy that deep yearning in your heart.
Amen.
So, Lori, I don't know as far as how you want to close this, because we've had so much worship and stuff. I don't know what you want to do here. You want some pray? You guys, okay. Rachel, can you just come up here and just play? You don't have to sing, just play. And anybody that wants to come up here, we'll pray for you some more. Because we want to get this really sealed in you, in the sense of that when you leave here, that you know you're loved. That when you leave here, that you know God thinks you're the apple of His eye, and that you're the most important thing to Him, because you are. And He is seeking you, and you're seeking Him. And there's never, never, never a point where He'll stop seeking you. Might be a point where we stop seeking Him, but He's always seeking us.